And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Monday, March 3rd, 2025. And if you'd like additional weather information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It brings you to a web page with a map of the continental U.S., Hawaii, Alaska to the lower left, and tabs for the territories. If you point and click anywhere on this map, it'll give you a very specific forecast for anywhere in the nation, including any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. And there's all sorts of other additional information available from the site. But I wanted to show you as of this Monday afternoon. Last week I spoke about the potential for severe weather erupting across areas of the central U.S., and that is going to be the case. We have a strong area of low pressure with strong wind shear. This system is kind of like something you'd more expect the latter half of March, early April. Anyways, this low is going to come on out and head up toward the western Great Lakes with strong wind field that'll be conducive for severe weather starting this evening and this Monday night for areas of Oklahoma, North Texas, but that'll expand on Tuesday eastward, and we could find an area of enhanced severe weather, especially from southern Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, up through the western Tennessee Valley, including Mississippi and Alabama, and these storms could go into Tuesday night as well. In the meantime, we have blizzard warnings in effect for areas of Nebraska and northeast Colorado, with other winter storm watches extending northeastward up into southern Minnesota, northwest Iowa, Wisconsin, and upper Michigan. So that'll be a potent storm. It's going to be one in a series now through mid-month. We do have blizzard warnings in effect for areas of the West Coast, including St. Lawrence Island, for some accumulating snow and strong winds as we go through the day Tuesday into Wednesday morning. And then midweek, as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, there could be strong winds create ground blizzard conditions along the eastern Beaufort Sea coast, especially there up around Kaktovik. And later on tonight, early on Tuesday morning, or perhaps Tuesday night, coronal mass ejection is expected to brush the earth. Could enhance the northern lights. It's not 100% certain, but where skies are clear, it might be possible to see the aurora at some point, if not early on Tuesday morning, perhaps depending on that arrival, maybe on Tuesday night. Overall, though, we are going to see temperatures cool down a bit across the state of Alaska, come closer to near normal to a bit below normal as we approach and then go past mid-March. We've had a very mild stretch of weather lately. In fact, Anchorage had a record high of 46 degrees at Ted Stevens Airport on Sunday. It was a gorgeous day. And as far as just up the road around Fort Richardson, Birchwood, the high temperature was 53 on Sunday, so very mild weather. A couple of FAA webcams, Wales, some light snow, temperature only 0 there. It's been quite cold. In fact, Savunga had the state's low temperature this morning at 9 below. And you can see that kind of reduction in visibility. Conditions are going to get worse there. There are blizzard warnings for Shishmaref as well as Steller and Wales. Port Clarence, this area will see light to moderate snowfall, maybe 2 to as much as 6 inches of snow in some areas, along with winds that could gust as high as 50, 60 miles an hour. That's why we have blizzard warnings there. Anchorage, enjoying less in the way of sun today, mostly cloudy, a few breaks, even a couple of sprinkles, 36 degrees, so about 10 degrees colder than what it was on Sunday afternoon. So here are the current watch warnings advisories. We have a winter weather advisory for Nome, Golovin, White Mountain area here, the central interior of the Seward Peninsula. Blizzard warning, though, for Shishmaref down along the west side of the Seward Peninsula through the Bering Strait to St. Lawrence Island. Going to get a little bit more in the way of wind in those areas. That's why there is that blizzard warning. And snowfall amounts won't be especially heavy, but when you factor in those strong gusty winds, you're going to have reduction in visibility due to that blowing snow. And then here in the far northeast, eastern Beaufort Sea coast, there is a winter storm watch for potentially blizzard conditions Wednesday into Thursday, and that would include Kaktovik, Point Thompson, Barter Island. That area there could see some strong gusty winds and ground blizzard conditions for midweek. And a check here of the satellite imagery. We continue to have a moisture feed that comes up out of the North Pacific up along the west side of the state. And this overall pattern has kept milder temperatures going, especially across south central areas this weekend. Kind of see a curl in the clouds. That's an area of low pressure there. We have weaker low pressure up here along the southwest western interior. And then there's a low out here southwest of the Aleutians with this front that drapes out ahead of it. And that front will come east and northward as we go through the next couple of days. But here is that general parade of moisture coming in off the North Pacific up along the west side of the state. Still have some weak high pressure over northwest Canada, not quite as strong as what it was a couple of weeks or more ago, especially the early half of February back into January. But by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon, the low that was out here is going to kind of weaken. It's this next system, the pattern's going to start to shift. Instead of that more north to south track, it's going to kind of go more southwest to northeast as we go through this week. And eventually, as that happens, the systems that come by will be able to draw down some colder air from the north and west. So along this front, we have a little secondary low developing that's going to lift itself northeastward with time on Wednesday. And we have another kind of secondary low along that frontal boundary, push its way up along the western Gulf. That's going to spread rain along coastal areas of Kodiak Island, Kenai Peninsula, Prince William Sound, but you get up along those coastal mountains, there'll be some wet accumulating snow. And then there's that low that kind of out there back toward Nunavik Island and north of St. Paul for Wednesday from that initial system. And then by the time we get to Thursday later in the week, we find that these systems, these first couple of lows just kind of work north. This is also going to kind of work north and tend to at least push a little precipitation, not a lot, into the interior. But then we'll notice things are going to kind of want to go more southwest to northeast here later in the week. And that's what eventually will bring some cooler temperatures. Now, we had some very cold air last week up along areas of the Arctic coast, North Slope. Still some sub-zero readings there. We still expect readings to be a bit below zero, from Utqiagvik all the way down here to St. Lawrence Island. Temperatures may be dipping just a little below freezing, Anchorage Bowl, and even in through areas of the interior inner channels of the Panhandle. For Tuesday afternoon, though, highs could be in the 40s, a 50-degree reading down there, Prince of Wales Island around Klawock or Craig. We could see temperatures still back up around or a tad above 40. The Susitna Valley down through Anchorage Bowl, especially west side of the Kenai Peninsula, 45 there at Homer. Back to the west, temperatures still just kind of holding around zero with those increasing winds and some blowing snow through the Bering Strait. And then Wednesday morning, we still have those single-digit sub-zero readings along the Arctic coast, North Slope, and trailing down along the Chukchi Sea coast past the Bering Strait to the north side of St. Lawrence Island, with some clouds and moisture and wind kind of picking up here into Wednesday morning. Might see low temperatures right near the freezing mark there, holding there in Anchorage Bowl. And then back here through the Panhandle, near freezing, like Petersburg up through Juneau and Skagway, but otherwise staying above freezing most areas. And high temperatures Wednesday afternoon could push some readings up near 40, especially get some downslope off the Alaska Range into the middle Tanana Valley up toward Fairbanks. Could still see a 40-degree reading around Anchorage. It's not going to cool down right away this week, so still relatively mild. And we have high temperatures in the single digits to near 10 above along the Arctic coast and again through the Bering Strait. But here's the 6 to 10 day outlook. This is different. Now we're finally seeing a change. Remember, not long ago I was showing that big above normal projection here for much of the mainland centered on south central, southeast Alaska. We got that this past weekend. That's why it was 46 degrees in Anchorage. And so now we're going to see a transition here March 9th through the 13th toward more normal temperatures across the southeast half of the mainland. Maybe a little below normal in the Panhandle and cooling down along areas of the Chukchi Sea coast, northwest mainland, including Utqiagvik down through Kotzebue and Nome, St. Lawrence Island. And then March 11th through the 17th, as we get through that mid-month, centered on the mid-month period, overall the trend will be for temperatures to average a bit cooler than normal for a change, with the greatest likelihood of below normal temperatures here along the Lisburn Peninsula, Seward Peninsula down into St. Lawrence Island. And then precipitation-wise here, March 9th through the 13th, a little drier than normal up here. Western Brooks Range, North Slope, and along the Chukchi Seacoast between Point Hope and Utqiagvik. But maybe a bit above normal here in the southwest, especially along and just inland from Kuskokwim, Bristol Bays, and up along the Alaska Peninsula. And then getting into the middle of March, March 11th through the 17th, we find maybe precipitation again a bit below normal across the northwestern mainland from, say, areas of Arctic Village, Kaktovik, all the way down to eastern areas of Norton Sound around Shaktoolik. But as we get south of the Alaska Range and up toward the Alcan border, maybe just a little little above normal precipitation here across the southern mainland, including the Alaska Peninsula, and then near normal precipitation perhaps here as we head toward mid-month. But the biggest takeaway is that it's not going to be as mild as it was across much of the state. Look for a general cooling trend before and as we head through the mid-month period.